Fishing is so important to me, and it is so important to our society and to the world. Why? Because it's the last remaining vehicle for the masses to stay connected to this natural world, where we find sanity and peace. You know, this rod it's been part of my connection to it, and the line you use and the lures you use that allow me to, you know, to experience it in a more intimate way. I'm Rick Clunn. This is my new Sixth Sense Signature Series rod. There's a lot of history behind this rod. In the early days, I've been doing this for 50 years, and I really developed a technique where I fish most of my what we call power techniques, and I'll tell you what those are in a minute. I wanted to do it with one rod. I didn't want to have to change length rods or action rods every time I changed a lure. And this is really a culmination. All these years now, this is my 50th year, we decided to really put together the best components of all those rods into, again, one rod. Assembled in the USA. It's a power rod. It's designed to fish all these techniques I'm going to show you and even more. Obviously, the crankbaits, all sizes. I fish all sizes of crankbaits, and that's one of the most effective technique in my whole career. Another old power technique is still, I won the last elite tournament on a big spinnerbait. I love this rod for those big spinnerbaits. I love them for the bladed jig, big glide baits nowadays. That's a modern day power technique. Over almost 40 years, it's taken on many forms, it's gotten better, and this is by far the best version I've had of it. But there's even a neat 50-year story that happened at the last elite event in the St. Lawrence River. Nobody knew it at that time, but that final day, I knew was going to be my final weigh-in. Starting at the end of the day, and I had this one spot I ran by, and I said, I really need to catch a 5-pounder there at the end of the day. And so I pulled in there, and I'm throwing, again, it's very nostalgic. I'm throwing my favorite rod, my favorite spinnerbait, and I pulled up on this spot, and about my 10th cast, almost right at the boat, 5 pounds. I mean, about took it out of my hand, and it was just beautiful. And it was the last strike I had of my elite 50-year career. And yet it was a beautiful 5-pound smallmouth bass on one of my favorite baits and on my favorite rod. I'll never forget it. And so I hope when you get this rod that it will do the same for you, that your connection will become even more powerful.